Welcome back, my Sneepsters. It's the Sneeb Analyzer here, and we're doing something a little different today. We're going to be reviewing one of my games that I played yesterday. I've been playing offline a lot just because I play so much better when I'm not commentating, and I'm trying to get in the top 100 to get a couple top 100 for you games for you guys before the end of the season. So let's take a couple. I'm gonna do a series of these, and you guys let me know what you think about this style of content in the comments. So initially, we're in third here. I look at this board and I think that probably these 9, 5, 10 and this 10, 8, 4 are gonna go first, but that's not what happens. Um, Orange takes this, which I think it's not even one of the first four spots in my opinion. I think the best four spots on this board are this 9 5 10, this 8 4 10, this 6 9 3, and this 8 5 10 here. Just because like there's gonna be a lot of wheat spots, you know what I mean? Like there's at least five, maybe 4 or 5 wheat spots on this board. So I think the or and the sheep have value with these spots. So then next it goes 9 5 10, which I think probably should have gone first. And then we decide to take this 8 5 10 here. And you might be saying to yourself, like, well, you're just giving forth a really strong setup with this 6 9 3 and this 8 4 10. But what I thought here is, well, it's not the end of the world. Like, we get this 8 4 3, which is a side by side, if that happens, right? And, we'll have this big 8 roll that's a free card as soon as we settle the 8. And we should have the connect. And, this person's road path will be a little bit more awkward. And what I also saw with this pick here, guys, is that this 4 is going to be double shared, which makes it a blocking target, probably, right? Like it's going to go this and this, probably. Or, this and this and this, probably. So I was thinking, like, if we can just block this 4 in the early game, we should get a huge advantage on roads, right? And also the thing is if you take this 6 9 3, you're not guaranteed to get something that great on the way back. Like fourth probably takes this 8 4 10 and this 8 5 10. You know what I mean? Which is pretty good. If you take this one, then fourth just takes 6 9 3 and 10 8 5, and then you're left with like this, which is okay, but it's not as good as this side by side, and it gives fourth something even better in my opinion, because you don't really need the wheat on this board. There's going to be a lot of wheat. So I'm going to stop yapping. Let's get into the game. So fourth obviously does this. They could have considered like they don't want to leave 8 10 open, right, for this guy. So that's why they do that. But Orange can definitely take this 8 3 here. So then we do what we planned. And, you might be saying to yourself, like, point towards the wheat port, right? But guys, we only have 5 pips of wheat. It's really, like, not that much. What this setup needs to do is it just needs to spit settles out. Like, settle here, and settle on the 411, and get your production up so that you can trade for this ore, because there's going to be a lot of ore on this board. There's 13 pips of ore on this board, as opposed to, like something like the wood, where even though there's an extra hex of wood, there's only 9 pips of wood. So there's a ton of ore and wheat on this board, and so playing with low ore and wheat is kind of good, and I think this brick and wood has value. So that's kind of like what I was thinking here in placements, guys. I think this is, expected from blue. Blue could have also just taken this to like lock it up, which is what I thought that they might do. Kind of coordinated 10s, big 9 roll. You get this 3 to 1. You could even take like this as blue down. And I think that might have been better for them. But this 6 3 11 also makes sense. And then, Orange gets greedy. I think someone should have tried to lock this board here, because who has the advantage? Like when blue and orange are placing, who has the advantage on blue on wood and brick on this board? It's me and red. So all you're doing by opening up spots is giving us extra spaces to go to, which is not what you want to do as the or wheat sheep player. You just want to get your safe settles and not leave too much for the rest of the board because you're not going to get there. Game starts, we roll some brick immediately, and orange wants to trade ore for brick. So I propose for 2. I ask him if he wants 2 brick for 2 ore. These trades that you want to try to get early. He offers ore sheep for 2 brick, and I snap on that deal. And, you know, even though I'm giving him the 2 bricks that he needs to road settle, I'm getting a sheep and an ore. So and this 8 to me is going to be kind of worthless, you know? Like, I'm always going to have brick in my hand, and when this 8 rolls, I get 3 brick, and I'm not going to have the wood to sustain it because I have twice as much wood or brick as I have wood. So I'm always down to trade the brick here, and I'm getting a card I don't produce, and I'm getting a sheep, which just diversifies my hand and gives me a pop so that I'm not necessarily dead. He drops the road. 6 rolls. They try to trade a wheat, but nobody needs wheat on this board because there's so much of it. More ore rolls, and I start to try to trade here. So I'm trying to trade my cards for ore. I'm trying to get an early city. Like, I'm even willing to trade like a brick and a wheat right here for 2 ore just to hold and hit a 3 or a 4 and city up this road production city, which is just going to give me my settles really quickly. Another 6 rolls. Red builds a road. More ore on the board, so there's tons of ore. There's tons and tons of ore. Another one on this board right now, and blue drops a city. Our turn, more ore hits the board, and at this point, I'm still, you know, I'm trying to trade into the city, right? Like I want to give sheep brick for 2 ore, and you know we're getting countered for stuff we don't have, and then I just offer, you know, the 1-for-1s. And eventually I get this trade-off with red, which is a little dangerous because they have a very strong setup, but they make wheat and brick, you know? And this just gives me the 3 ore that I need to get a city. So I'm happy with this trade, and, you know, I don't think I'm getting robbed here. Like, if a 7 rolls, it's definitely going on blue, so I'm down to just make my hand better and accumulate cards. On red's turn, a 7 rolls, and they have to discard like a bunch of the these cards, which is good for us, and they hit blue as expected. We get more brick, obviously. You know, as I was saying since the beginning, this sheep used to be a brick. We traded the brick earlier. The brick is worthless to us here because you know, we're just always using it when the 5 rolls, so we're just waiting on the 5 to use the brick all the time. And orange cities, we get more brick. And now we try to trade for the wheat, obviously, because it just rolled. There's a good amount of wheat on this board. I offer 2 bricks for it. I offer a sheep for it. And eventually, orange just says yes. A lot of the, you know, it's kind of hard to see when you're reviewing the game like this, but there was like lots of counters and kind of people saying yes or like thinking about it, right? And eventually, orange just broke and said yes, and you know, so I get a city and I get to keep my 4 brick. So that's why you always want to trade, guys. Finally, a 5 rolls, so we're immediately rewarded. And, you know, I'm thinking right here, I have these 2 roads up to this ore. Like, I can get on this ore naturally if I want. Red drops a city, and bam, another 8 rolls. So you can already see the power of this 8, guys. Being doubled up on this 8 from the very beginning of the game, even though, you know, our setup is kind of awkward, we just make a lot of cards. So I'm trying to get, you know, wheat sheep here. He's trying to trade for wood. Nothing goes through. But you see, guys, I'm always trading. I'm always trying to trade. He gets a good trade off here to get another city, which I think was, I don't know why we're just giving out cities one for one, but there you go. And another 5 rolls. And so at this point, I'm thinking, like, there's got to be a way for me to get a sheep or a wheat here. And, you know, I offer the wood and the brick for sheep and wheat. And orange just says yes. And, yeah, I try to get the sheep. And I just plow orange. So, you know, you guys might be thinking like this is sort of an aggressive move, but this just gives me a lot of life, guys. I'm not even necessarily, the 9 is good, right? It's triple shared, like it never gets blocked really. But what I really want here is just road space. I'm nerfing Orange's game, who, you know, could have connected for road, could have tried to play for road. And I'm getting a big spot, and I'm getting space where, like, I can connect all the way, you know, like, no one can stop me from going to 15 roads out here. Red rolls a 7, and we're not even getting robbed because everyone else has cities, and even though, like, we're basically a huge favorite for road, they're scared of the devs. Orange builds a road and buys a dev. Another 8 rolls. So that's a big roll for us, but we can't really do anything. We roll a 7 on this turn, and red hits another disgusting 7 and drops 3/5 of a city. And yeah, guess where we're putting it, guys? So I try to get an ore here. And then I say, sorry, misclicked, but I've been planning to block this 4 since the start of the game. This is my advantage on this board, guys, this 5. And I just want to, you know, nerf red's game. I want to be the only one with wood here. And so I just say, sorry, I misclicked. And then he says yes to the non-steal. And then he scams us, guys. So this is one thing I've been noticing a lot is with the extortion meta becoming a much bigger thing in these last couple years online, people have started scamming a lot. And, you know, I think it's kind of funny, right? Because when extortion first started becoming a thing, people complained. And they were like, extortion's not part of the game. You should just rob the person who's in the lead or rob the person that you want cards for. You shouldn't, like, ask for trades when you roll a 7, you know? And then slowly people began to accept it. And then now what's happening is, as a response to extortion, everyone is non-binding all the time. And people are all upset about it. They're all up in arms. They're like, oh, how could you non-bind? And I think it's just funny to me because the way I see it is it's a game. We're all trying to win here. There's different moves you make that are either social or like resource management on the board that give you an advantage in the game. Making trades or scamming deals is part of a strategy to win the game, right? And this kind of like honorable idea of like how you quotes like should or shouldn't play just to me doesn't really exist. We're playing a game, we're trying to win. Non-binding is part of the game, extortion is part of the game. It's about managing your deals. It's about thinking like, is this a deal that my opponent might scam? You know what I mean? When you're making those extortion deals, like at the end of the game for me, like one thing I've learned recently is like by the time we're on 8 points, like I'm just robbing for the cards that I need to win or to prevent someone from winning. Like I'm not trying to extort at the end of the game because at the end of the game, it's a perfect time to non-bind, right? You're not going to get punished for the rest of the game. The game's going to be over soon, and non-binding can potentially give you a chance to win if it's a card you really need. So those are my thoughts on scamming and extortion and non-binding, and you'll see a little bit more of that as these replays continue. So anyway, let's get on with this game. We try to trade. No one wants to trade with us, and we just... Yeah, so he says you started it, right? Like he's talking about me extorting him, right? So yeah, people just have different opinions about this. And obviously he scammed because he had a city. We finally get another big 5, and bam, we've got road settle. Orange can't do anything. Roll a 6, more wheat and brick hit the board, which doesn't really matter for me. Blue ends up trading for brick from red, which is bad because I don't like red getting sheep. And they build a road. And then it's our turn. We're praying for no 7, and we don't get one. And now we've got a huge hand. So I immediately think, like, I could just road settle, but I'm going to try to trade first. Like, I'm going to try to get this second wheat. I'm going to try to get some ore if I can. And I can't, right? Like, the trades are too steep. So I just build a road settle. And then I'm still trying to trade, and we can't really do anything. And, here I just think, like, with this hand, what am I really needing to win? Well, road for 7, settle for 8, right? I really need to just get my next 2 settles down and either try to pull a VP or sneaky city again when the 9s roll or something like that. So that's kind of my plan here, guys. And so I know that I'm gonna need the wood. And so I just decide here, instead of porting down for like a wheat or an ore or something, I just decide to drop the road, go low on cards, If I'd have just ported and held there, this 8 would put me over, right? Like, I want this 8 to roll and not to be over 7 cards because I want to keep all of those brick. I don't want a 7. I don't want to roll an 8 on red's turn and then roll a 7 in the next 3 and lose all of that brick. So I just decided to drop the road there. And lo and behold, we roll another 8. He's trading brick for wheat, and I say yes to this, but it immediately gets snapped up by orange. Obviously, like, red shouldn't be trading with us. And then there's this disgusting port for a wood here, which is the power. Look what I did with this 4 block, guys. I have made red port 4 ore. And red settles. Next, orange rolls a 7. And they solo us, which honestly makes sense at this point in the game. But I think red is also pretty scary. And orange is trying to trade into the city here. So they're trying to get a dev. So orange is trying to get a dev here, and no one wants to trade the ore. Another 6 rolls, which is a big roll for red. And we just start to accumulate the wheat here. So at the start of the game, the brick was useless, and it still is, kind of. Like, we're still waiting for this 5. So I'm just trading the brick for the wheat. It's a better card. It makes our hand a little better. And I can trade with anyone here, guys, because I'm in first. I'm winning. It may not necessarily look like it, but I'm definitely winning here. I have, close to the most production. I have road path. I have open settles everywhere. So it's going to be very difficult for them to stop me from winning. So I can honestly give these 1-to-1 trades. I don't even really care what blue is doing with this, because I'm just ahead of them. So we hit a 3. We could have been able to port there for an ore if we'd have held, but I don't really mind just getting an extra wheat. And red buys a dev. And orange buys a dev. And blue builds their settlement finally. And then it's our turn. And we roll a 7. And, I'm not even extorting here because I just want to test these devs. I want to test red's dev here. Yeah, and I just want to hit red here, So. And yeah, so we just port for the dev, and we would have had an extra brick here, and now we've got a wheat, so that's pretty good. We got a knight to defend ourselves. We hit a 5. Red buys another dev. And at this point, guys, I think red should honestly just be trying to road settle here and connect. Like, they build cities very fast. I think they just want to play for road, so I think it's a little bit of a mistake from red. Orange is trading, and I trade him. I lose one of the woods, but I get a brick and I get an extra sheep, and this just pads our hand since we're probably getting robbed if a 7 gets rolled, and also it guarantees to make us actionable. And you might be saying, like, why take that trade when you have the 8? And why not? The 8 just gives me a bunch more cards. Like, I'm probably using the 8 to port for wheat anyway a lot of the time. And get my next 2 settles to go to 7, connect for 9, and then I can just pop to close it out. So 7 gets rolled, and I get robbed. It's part of the reason why I'm doing these trades, guys. We play our knight. The 9 is good for us. It's good for everyone else, but we play it, and we hit the 10 again. We're mostly just worried about red at this point, and I want to know what their devs are. I already know that they have 1 non-knight. So here I just say non-steal for non-steal. I honestly would rob blue too. I just don't want to get robbed here. Why? Because I'm in first. I'm winning. I don't want to get robbed, right? Like, that's why I'm getting these non-steal for non-steal deals. And this is something I do a lot, and I don't see other people doing very much. And this is a really big play, guys. It's a net, like, multiple cards. Right? Like, imagine I get stolen here and I lose the brick or the wheat. Like, it's a disaster. I just want to make my points. And so we get our non-steal deal. We steal an ore. It's big. We roll another one. And instead of popping here, guys, I just want to double up this 4. And the reason why is because I already have 2 ore in my hand. And now a 4 puts me really close to the next city. And what I'm thinking here, guys, is if I can somehow get this next city up, no one is going to be able to stop me from winning. Red rolls a 7, and obviously we're getting hit here. We lose an ore, which sucks. There's a 6 rolled. There's some trades, some crazy, like, ore for wheat trades here. And there's actually a big one that goes down between orange and blue right here. Or orange and red right here to give orange another city. But at this point, orange might be on 7. Let's check. Yeah, they are. But I'm taking road soon. You know what I mean? Like, I just need to drop these 2 roads, and it's going to be very difficult for orange to win. And I think at this point I did suspect that they had non-knights, but it's kind of hard to tell because they're not getting blocked. So we miss an 8. And blue asks for sheep. And I see orange countering. And I just don't want orange to get more trades. So I just undercut and give the 1-for-1, even though it doesn't really do anything for me. And then blue uses a knight and steals from red. And we get our non-steal. And they moved the knight off of us. So that's kind of like what working together does, right? Like, this non-steal deal turned into something amazing for us. And now we roll a 7. They ask for it again. I say, yep. And I rob from red just because I think that they're in the best position since I'm probably taking road from orange. Red can also, play for road, but it's just hard for anyone to beat us for road. So really, we're just completely winning here. We roll a 5. Orange rolls a 7. I say everyone has non-knights because both of them have non-knights at this point. So both of them have 2 non-knights confirmed. Another 7 gets rolled. Blue's not even robbing us. Buys 2 devs. Uses a knight. Gives us the non-steal and then solos us. So, that was fair play from blue. But honestly, Read what I was saying about scamming earlier. I think blue should just be non-binding me at this point. I'm on 8. I have the road settle for 9. Um, I get the 4. So, now we're just a 9 and a 5 away, or, a couple rolls away. 9 and a 10 from the city. Another 6 gets rolled. Road settle for red. We get an 8 blocked, and look how close we would be to winning with that 8, guys. So I'm doing a little bit of table talk here, saying I still have to city road. All of the VPs are gone, even though I'm clearly winning. I know, guys. I'm so annoying. Orange buys a dev. Blue uses a knight, moves it off of our big 8, and doesn't even rob from us, right? So, red is on 7, but like I'm just straight up on 8, and no one's taking road from me. Even if red were on 8 here, it still takes them a while to double city, and like I can just road settle pop for it. Even though I know that a lot of the knights or VPs are gone. I don't know. I think like you should block the 9, but you should rob me there if you're blue. So I guess our table talk worked. Blue rolls a big 9, and we just pass because we can't do anything. We get robbed by red. They buy another dev. Orange is trying to get some bricks here, but we don't have any. We wish we did. They don't get any trades off. They just buy a knight, and they steal from blue because blue is playing hardball for the trade. One thing I've been thinking a lot, I think I have been too defensive in the past with trading. I've just been slinging out 1-for-1 trades and stuff lately. And, especially in the late game when you're winning, like if you can get any sorts of trades or take other trades away from other players, like that's always a huge deal. So blue rolls a massive 7 and has to discard a huge amount of cards and steals from red again. And at this point, I think it's getting a little silly. So let's see what blue got. So blue just pulled their VP right there. So they're at 8. But, I think at this point, like, these players aren't getting army. Red's probably not getting road, right? Like, it just seems like it should be me as blue here. So I think that was a little bit of a mistake from blue. And, because blue's been robbing red, red now plays a knight and blocks and robs blue. And we're completely left alone with almost a city in our hand. Yeah, on the next turn, orange uses a knight and also robs blue again. And this is part of the thing, too, of like, these guys are all, at the start of this game, I thought like this 5 wood had a lot of value, and this side-by-side taking road had a lot of value because, these setups don't make roads that well. I mean, red makes roads, right? If the 4's not blocked, but they have a lot of ore and wheat. They look really scary compared to us having road. And, we've just got this baby 3 and 4, and we didn't have any ore to start with. So this is something you can kind of do as a road player is just be sneaky about it, right? Like, if you don't have as good of ore and wheat production as another road competitor, you should probably get road, and the table will probably be okay with you doing that. So, orange is 4-for-1s and buys another dev. They get a road builder here, which is kind of scary because now they can connect for 9. Blue robs orange. We hit a huge 5 roll, so now we've got a city. And blue buys another dev. Let's see what that one was. The Year of Plenty. So blue really needed like a VP there. But a lot of the VPs are gone, right? Like orange has 2, red has 1. They're saying blue's going to win, and we are so close here. We just don't quite have it here. So we just take road just to prevent any shenanigans from orange. We know they have 2 non-knights. We don't want them connecting and somehow citying for the win. They're not actually even really that close. They would need like a 6 and a 9, but the 9 is blocked. So yeah, and we just decide here, we're just going to drop this road this way. You could make an argument for extending, but I really don't think anyone's going to be able to get to 8 roads here. In the worst case, if we do lose road, we can wrap this, and it can all contribute to our road. And I just want to set up the settle for the win. We hit an 8, so now we've got the win. Red cities and devs. Big roll there. I think now, even if we 7 out, we still have it, right? Because we can port down the brick. Orange uses their road building, doesn't even connect and try to like ask for anything. You know, they really should have tried to like coordinate together there. And at this point, it's just over. And that's a GG's, guys. That's a GG's. Yeah, so easy game there, controlling the wood, leaving open settle spots on the board, you know, and that's just a Sneeb special. So let me know if you guys like that game. Let me know if you like this style of content, and I'll see you in the next clip here.